Hello folks and welcome back to the Command Block series. This time around we're going to do a little change of plan from what I said. We're going to talk about the scoreboard command. Now, the scoreboard command is rather vast. There's a whole ton of things you can do with it. So what I'm going to say right off the bat, in case this hasn't been made clear throughout this video series yet, with any of this stuff, I intend to show you one application, or at least maybe a couple applications with a particular command that are useful and get you an idea of how to start using the command. But by all means, I'm not expecting to explain everything, and the scoreboard command is a perfect example because there's so much to it. There's so many different things you can do with it. So at all times, I encourage you to go check out minecraftwiki.net, and for this series, you would be looking up commands and then sort through their table of contents to find out about the commands. It's kind of overwhelming, but I think if you have some idea of what to use it for at first, it might be a little bit easier to understand what you need to look for. But anyways, let's get to the command blocks. What I'm going to do, and the reason why I wanted to do this before execute detect, is because scoreboards are going to be really useful in basically setting up on-off switches for certain events to happen. It's what I like to call basically sort of Minecraft's event handling. Primarily, what we want to do in this video is set up 3 different teams. Teams can do a number of different things, especially for like mini games and things like that. But at the very least, we can set it up so that we can have an admin team that has special privileges and access to like special locations. And then we have a no PvP team and a PvP team. So no PvP team would probably be used for players that are in protected areas, and we don't want anyone killing each other. Don't want them griefing any of the structures or anything like that. So we're going to be putting players into that team when we want to keep them from causing any harm. And then the PvP team will just be the exact opposite. That'll be the team we put players into when they're basically just out playing the game outside of protected areas. They're allowed to PvP, they're allowed to break blocks and things like that. And so this is how we're going to basically identify each of these players as to what privileges they should have or not have. So before I go any further, I just want to say that basically everything I'm about to explain in this video really doesn't have to be done on a clock or anything, and it really doesn't require the command blocks. You could do all of these commands in the chat log by typing in scoreboard and objectives or whatever. You can do all of that in the chat log, and you could set all these things up however you want. But it is kind of helpful for testing purposes to have these things set up in command blocks. So all you have to do is push a button for specific commands. I've set up some basic commands to set up each team. The teams are lined up like this. This is going to be admin, no PvP, and PvP. And the types of commands that I've set up are a command to create the team, a command to add players to the team, remove players from the team, set a specific color just so it's easier to identify, and set friendly fire for that team either to true or false so we can control whether or not they're able to kill other players. So let's take a look at the commands to create the admin team, and then that should help us understand the other 2 behind them. So create an admin team. So if I want to create a team, all I have to do is do scoreboard teams add and then a name of the admin tier, the name of the team I want to create. And this will work just fine, but there is another part of this tag that is optional. It's a display name, I believe. So if you wanted to do something like admin team or something like that, I believe in a multiplayer setting this would show, if you ever had a scoreboard that said, who are the players that are in this team or whatever, that's the display name that would occur for it. If it's not there, it's just going to use the regular name and it'll just show admin. So I don't really consider it to be entirely necessary, especially for teaching purposes. Again, if there's anything else you want to learn, minecraftwiki.net. But yeah, this would create the team, and as you can see, the last time I used it, it said added new team admin successfully. So there you go. So once the team is created, then you can add players to it or remove players from it. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'll show you these commands here. Scoreboard teams join admin, and then the player you want to add to it. You can also use these targets, these selectors here. And then if you want to remove someone from the team, you do scoreboard teams leave admin, and then the player you want to remove. And then we have some options here to set. So I've given the admin team, scoreboard teams option, admin color, gold. So I've assigned the color of the admin team to gold so that it's just an easy way to identify who's who. So we know that anyone who has the color of gold, then they are in the admin team. And then also we've allowed admins to have friendly fire. Basically they'll have friendly fire at all times because they'll always be in the admin team. And just to further explain this color thing, you can see as of right now I'm in no team at all, and if I type in chat log, my name comes up as white. Now, if I join a team, like the admin team, well, next time I type, you can see my name is now in gold. Now, I've made use of that right away by adding an additional argument to the selector that only players in the admin team can use this command block to get below to the command blocks below, basically all of the clocks that we got running. So you can see if I leave the admin team and try to use this command block, it does not work. It won't let me down. But if I join the admin team, it will let me down. And here you can see I'm down here. And I've actually cloned these command blocks down here as well. So we'll just talk further about the rest. So now we have the no PvP team. So basically the same thing as before. We can create the team, add players to it, remove players from it, and then give it a special color. It's going to be green. And friendly fire is set to false. So if I join the team, my color is now green. And if I try to use things that are dictated to only use or only be workable by admins, they won't work anymore. And the same thing for PvP. Create the team, add players to it, remove players from it, set a special color to it, and set friendly fire for it. There are other options you can set for teams, but we won't get into that in this particular video. We might get into it later. So yeah, let's see here. Let's see if I join it. Now you can see that my color is red. And you notice that I don't actually have to leave any of the other teams. When I'm added to another team, I basically can only be in one team at a time. So when I add another team, it automatically removes me from the other teams. So I'm going to go ahead and join back in the admin team, and that'll allow me to go topside. So that'll about do it for this video, folks. I know it was a little bit short, sweet, and to the point, and we didn't really cover too much use of the scoreboard command, but we can put it to more use when we start talking about execute detect. And that's what I want to talk about in the next one, because that's where we're really going to do the serious work on controlling game mode and allowing players to enter and exit a protected region. So that's going to be really important. Really going to want to check out the execute detect command, because it's pretty important for a lot of different applications. And using the scoreboard along with it is very helpful. It's basically how we do what I would like to refer to as Minecraft event handling. So I'm going to leave all the fun stuff for that video, and I'll catch you next time.